parrying. It's a move that keeps cropping up in games of many genres, but it can be intimidating to attempt to pull off such a high-risk maneuver and risk getting your head smashed off. So welcome to a guide that'll help you parry in every game that has it as a feature. Firstly, hi, I'm Iggy. I'm one half of the Twitch channel Iggy Made. I'm a self-taught mod creator, streamer, and voice actor. And over here, we love to parry. Find links to our stuff in the description if you like. But to get right into it, let's start with some fundamentals. We'll start with a classic for parrying, Dark Souls 1, and later we'll go over a few other games that feature parrying in some form to compare. The parry in Dark Souls 1 is a dedicated button. As long as you have a shield or compatible weapon in your left hand, it's not that difficult to pull off, so we'll start here. An ideal target dummy to get started practicing is right near Firelink Shrine once you get out of the asylum. These little hollow fellas. Just be mindful of pulling multiple and not getting too close to the firebomb thrower. You can't parry projectiles in this game. So first, if you want to get good at parrying, you need to throw expectations of needing superhuman reaction speed out the window. Because parrying here, and in most other games featuring parrying, it's entirely about observation. The first practical lesson is to just watch the enemy while keeping them at range. Watch their attack animation. Keep an eye for the tells for each attack. We'll break it into 3 steps to help you see what I mean. First, we have the warm-up. Most games that feature parrying have significant warm-up animations that serve as tells for what attack is coming, and the sooner you memorize these, the easier it'll be to parry them. Watch how they move their arms, their legs, and body. Is that a thrust attack being readied or a slash? After the warm-up is the attack itself. Understanding the warm-up is the most important step in getting your parry to land, as you'll know when the attack is going to connect, and you can react accordingly with your parry. But for now, we're just observing and getting that information locked into your brain. Following the attack is the cooldown phase, as the enemy resets to a neutral state ready to close distance, put its guard up, or begin the next attack. Similarly, your character follows these same rules, with all your weapons having a warm-up, attack, cooldown state. Though for combo attacks, you'll skip the cooldown state and go to warm-up, attack, and so on. Knowing how each individual weapon moves will make you much better at parrying than any kind of reaction speed. So observe your enemy first and foremost. Having observed the enemy attack, it's also important to observe our own parry animation. In most games, this can also follow the warm-up, attack, cooldown flow, though it's more accurate to call the attack state here the active state. If an enemy hits you during the active state, then the parry is successful. The warm-up state is what varies most game to game, and importantly here in Dark Souls 1 is that there is no warm-up state. It goes straight into the active frames, which is what makes this ideal for practicing. The active window varies depending what you're using to parry. Most shields and weapons give about 0.23 seconds of active parry time. Some exceptions exist, being the buckler shield or parrying dagger, where you trade in some defensive power for a little extra time, bringing that up to 0.26 seconds of active parry time. It sounds like a tight window, but it's still more than double the time frame for hitting a note in most rhythm games like Guitar Hero. Now all we have to do is line up our active parry frames with the enemy's attack state. This is the part that'll take most practice, and if you're really new to this, expect to die a fair few times. It's all part of the learning experience. Remember, it's all about observation and expectation. Watch their warm-up and time it with your parry. Other enemies you can practice on in Dark Souls 1 include nearly every similarly scaled humanoid enemy, including most hollows, Black Knights, Silver Knights, Butchers, and a few more. Just don't try parrying a demon or a giant. You'll only perform a partial parry, which still hurts you and gives you no tactical advantage. One notable non-humanoid enemy you can technically parry is the giant metal boar. During its charge attack, you can deflect it, which doesn't open it up for a counter-attack, but still, I thought it was cool. And sometimes when you show this stuff off, you'll find a long-time player who's like, "What? I didn't know you could do that!" And if today that's you, you're welcome. Once you've had a bit of practice, we can take this to other games. But before we change it up too much, we're going to compare to Dark Souls 2 to see how differently parrying is handled when you have to deal with a lengthy warm-up state before your active parry frames. Adjusting to this can be quite difficult coming right out of Dark Souls 1, but with higher risk comes higher reward, as it's great seeing your enemy fall flat on their ass when you pull it off. Put side by side and slowed down to single frames, you can see it takes the whole active frames of a Dark Souls 1 parry to finish before they even start on a Dark Souls 2 parry. This timing can vary greatly depending what you're trying to parry with in 2, but in the interest of keeping things moving, I'll not be going over the entire chart of frame data. This is a beginner guide, not a deep dive into every single frame. You need to drastically alter your timing to pull off the parry in Dark Souls 2, as you'll need to press the button roughly 0.2 seconds before you normally would, making it more about expecting an attack if you're trying to parry a faster enemy. Watch how the AI approaches you. When do you think they're going to attack? As soon as they close range? Learning to read an enemy like this can also help your parrying. Moving on now to Sekiro, seeing as the game was built to be all about parrying, things work quite differently here. Your parry is just your block button, but timed well. You have a 0.2 second window as soon as you hold block to perfect parry an attack directed at you, with this window vastly decreasing in time if you spam the block button. So the game rewards you staying calm under pressure. Some people will say Sekiro is almost a rhythm game with how the parry functions, and with certain combos it's easy to see. It's more about being in the flow and knowing the tempo of the attack to consistently deflect the whole thing, which is something you'll learn with practice and exposure to those combos. Deaths are to be expected, but once you've gotten a combo down, then it will almost never hit you. For Elden Ring, parrying is quite similar to Dark Souls 2, but with less delay and usually less active time too. With the normal parry Ash of War, you're looking at about 0.13 seconds of startup for 0.16 seconds of active parry time with small shields, and only 0.1 seconds with medium shields, making the timing so tight you'd wonder if it's worth the risk. If you want to parry in Elden Ring, my best suggestion is to get the Ash of War for Carry and Retaliation, which you can buy in Carrier Manor. It has a lovely visual for helping you time your parry, and 0.2 seconds of active parry time, while also being able to parry spells. I would have also taken time to suggest the Golden Parry Ash of War too, but with the Erdtree expansion patch they nerfed it into the ground. Its active parry time has been reduced to match medium shields at 0.1 seconds, so at this point your best option will always be Carry and Retaliation if you want to focus parrying here. Moving away from FromSoft games now, there are many other games that feature parrying either in the form of a perfect block or unique input, and by taking what you've learned here so far it can be applied to all these games as well. In Avowed, enemies have very clear warm-up animations that then transition very quickly into their attack. The timing is quite consistent across nearly all enemy types, and with a perfect block you'll be clearing these fights with ease if you've practiced in other games. I was surprised parrying was so rare among players in this game, given less than 10% have even attempted it that much. This was my first achievement outside the tutorial. Metal Gear Rising and many other entries from Platinum Games have a unique parry input involving moving toward the attack as you press the attack button itself. The timing can take a moment to get down as it's forward then attack a fraction of a second later. It can also be abused by rocking the stick toward the enemy while mashing attack, but you won't get any better by doing it that way and will miss out on the perfect timing counter. The cool thing about Metal Gear Rising when it comes to parries is that you can parry nearly everything in the game that's not a grab, which are marked by yellow flashes, or explosives and laser breath. This includes all melee attacks from Metal Gear Ray, its stomps and tailspin included, just parry it all. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has an interesting take on the parry. You do have to learn to do it from a dueling tutor first, and it only works with swords. But once you've mastered it, you'll win basically any fight with ease. I've got clips of one-shotting bosses with a single parry, or as this game calls it, the Master Strike. I win. One parry! Unlike the other games we've briefly gone over so far, the timing for this is directly shown to you on your combat HUD, unless you're playing on hardcore mode where this will be hidden. When the green shield appears on your HUD, that's your timing to perform a perfect block. But to Master Strike, you need to attack in this time frame from a specific direction opposite to the side your opponent is swinging. So if you see them aiming for your right, you need to time your attack to the left.
I feel quite hungry!
You just have to watch out for enemies trying to feint you and switch up what side they're attacking from at the last second. But if you can account for that, combat becomes very easy with this. Now, if you know me and my community, you know I love this game, and I will take any opportunity to gush about this Monster Hunter game in particular that nearly nobody has played compared to World and Wilds, because it's Switch exclusive. Well, let me tell you about my favourite parry in this game. Now, there are a couple of weapon styles that allow for parrying in Gen Ultimate, but what I want to show you is Valor-style longsword. In combat, you fill up this blue bar to enter Valor mode. When you're in this mode, your first special attack on R, your Spirit Slash, becomes a parry. A parry with no warm-up state similar to Dark Souls 1, and it can parry anything. Attacks? Parried. Roars? Parried. Fireballs? Parried. Even light? Parried. Mastering this will have you knocking monsters out of the sky with a well-placed parry, and it is so satisfying to finish a fight with one too. Coupled with the longsword's hunter art labelled critical juncture for even more parrying, you'll be unstoppable. Oh, the other Monster Hunter games have parries too, I guess. I should mention that, but they aren't as cool. This whole video may have been an excuse to talk about Gen Ultimate. I wish more people played it. Ultra Kill is a ridiculous game with many opportunities for fast-paced parrying via punching or blasting someone with a shotgun before they attack. But what I want to draw attention to, as this video turns from being a guide into more a celebration of sick parries in games, is the fact you can parry your own attacks. Specifically, if you parry immediately after firing your own shotgun, you can parry it to make the shot fly faster and do more damage while exploding. Practicing parries in this game can be tiring with how fast-paced the non-stop action can be, but you'll look damn cool pulling it off. I was originally going to cover a couple more games, but as I said just then, this is already turning into a parry showcase more than a guide at this point, so I'm going to start wrapping it here and have some extra footage in the background. The core takeaway I want to instill here is that parrying is a skill anyone can learn, and it's not all about speed and reaction time, it's about being able to read the enemy and understand their animations, which is something that comes from observing them and learning patterns. Ultimately, it's a skill about being patient and knowing the right time to strike, and done right, it's super satisfying, especially in games where the mechanic is fleshed out and well designed. Special thanks to my Discord and Twitch community who've egged me on to make a video about my overly specific special interest. If you want to check out more of my stuff, all the links are in the description beneath the like button. I may not make many YouTube videos, but I do stream nearly every day on Twitch, so feel free to stop by. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.